Evening, everybody. Friday the 27th of August. It's here. It's Friday night, 8 o'clock. That means only one thing. It's Barber's Arms coming from a different place. Gaz is over in his family retreat in Spain, so we're going to go live over to Gaz in a short bit. But coming up on tonight's show, we're going to go through some of our news bits this week. We're going to find out what Gaz has been up to in Spain with his beautiful tan. He's been out and about with the barber as well today, so we're going to see some pics of that coming up. Around about 8:15, we've got Simon Shaw. Not me, the other Simon Shaw. We're going to learn some funny stories about Simon, particularly one incident where he got mistaken for me on a blind date. So that's going to be interesting. Around about 8:45, we've got Lou Fimmano, who's going to be coming up from Australia, from the famous Barbers Boys Academy. That's going to be coming up at 8:45 over in Australia. And then me and Gaz will take you up to closing time. That's all coming up on tonight on episode 56. Can you believe that? 56? Is it? No, 57. Episode 57. Here on Barbers Arms in conjunction with the British Barbers Association and Wahl UK. Without further ado, please welcome the one and only Mr. Gary Amigo Machin.
Buenas noches, señor. How are you, mate? All right?
Yes, very well. How are you? How's Spain?
Fantastic. I'm actually sweating me conkers off at the moment. So I had a great week out here in Spain. Took the plunge, got out here, and it's worked out fantastically. Thank you very much. Just a couple of quick things. Everybody knows that we're now Paralympics are on and rolling, and we're winning medals all over the place. Our hearts go out to all the Afghans and what's going out, and what's happening out there at the moment. But a big shout out, I'll do it right at the beginning. And it's thank you to Wallace and Nikos for not last week's show, the week before's show. We did. Oh no, it was last week. We didn't miss the week before. Stateside and London, we've had 50,000 plus views. Absolutely great show. Thank you very much for joining us and everybody that's joined. I've been out. I went out for my breakfast the other day, and I asked the guy. He got quite a slick haircut, and I goes, "Where do you have your haircut, mate?" And he goes, "Oh, just a lady up the road, Wacky Barbers in Mahaka Playa." And I googled it, and it's actually one of our viewers that's been on the show. Not actually on the show, but she's been in the comments and she's watched in the past. And she used to be in a place next to the beachcombs on Mahaka Playa, but she's moved. And I think we've got a photo of her going to be pitched up for. I bought my T-shirt with me away, my Barber's Arms T-shirt. So I went along to the shop, and I'd actually had me haircut, or was going to have my haircut, and I ended up having just a photo of them. So the girls out there, Lisa and Deb, a big shout out, Wacky Barbers, Mahaka Playa. They've been here 18 years. They've had a great time of it, living the dream. And I just want to give them a shout out because they've actually watched the show while we've been on air. So
we've got photographs coming up right now, guys, for everybody to see where you are in Spain, where you're doing the Barber's Arms from tonight, from your beautiful villa, and also as well some photographs of you with the two barbers today in Spain. So guys, enjoy. He's got his Hawaiian shirt on. Looks like one of Beach Boys. Dan.
Well, do you know this is Eric Lander's shirt. When I lost my I never gave it him back. This is one of the pieces of garments I borrowed off him. So Eric Lander, I've still got your shirt. This is when my case went missing about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago when we were working in Dubai. So a lot of good memories, a lot of beer drunk in this shirt. So fantastic.
Eric, it's one of them shirts as well that when you lose it to somebody, you're not really bothered in. It's one of them in it. You just bring it to life. It's gone now, that one. We'll put that one to bed. Coming up, we've got a great show tonight for everybody who's watching tonight and through the week as well. Simon Shaw from The Fellowship. He's a business coach and he does some presenting courses as well. It's a bit weird in this industry having two Simon Shaws, and we're going to find out tonight how sometimes we can get mistaken for each other. I think it happens a little bit more to him than it does to me, but we'll find some funny stories offside tonight, see what's happening, and then over to Australia to Lou Fimmano. Just before we start as well, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Simon Shaw Wahl, Gaz is the British Barber, Barbers_Arms. Them's our Instagram accounts if you want to look on our website for past episodes, podcasts, and future episodes coming up, because we've got some new dates coming up as well. We're going to be taking Barber'S on a Wednesday night. That starts on the 8th of September. But our website is thebarbersarms.co.uk. And if you want to email us as well, that is barbersarms@thebritishbarber.com. So it's going to be exciting on a Wednesday night. And just before we move on to carry on with this show, we mentioned it last year, but it's now starting to take momentum. The big one, the Wahl British Barber of the Year and the Wahl British Barber Shop of the Year is launched on the 6th of September. And we just got a little video now to show you guys just a little bit about last year's winners. We caught up with Killian Madison in the week, and we've just got a little short video to show you now. So any aspiring barbers out there who have wanted to win the big one, and we've had lots of messages in there, and any barber shops out there who want this massive award, I think, Gaz, it's been one of those where it's now become one of the ones to win. You've judged it, Gary, for the last couple of years, and this year back on live on stage as the as the judge. And I'd like to announce tonight, Gary, not that you know, but I know you'll accept, we want to move you this year to the head judge of the Wahl Barber of the Year.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll accept that with pleasure, mate. It's an absolutely fantastic job, absolute honour. And, out there, everybody out there, it's the one to win, isn't it? So, and hopefully, fingers crossed, toes crossed, we are back at Salon International this October. So...
Well, Gary, when they say you're the head judge, I just want to clear up with it. What does that mean? You tell the judge, no, you don't. What the head judge means as well is this is the pressure. Oh, I nearly fell off my stool then. I'm getting too excited. What the head judge means as well is if the tie on the Barber of the Year is, we go to the first points was if it's joint, and then the second run of what we look at is joint, the head judge has the decision who wins the Barber of the Year. So no pressure, buddy.
Oh, well, I'm made up that you've given me that prestigious job. It's I hope you do you proud anyway. But everybody out there, everybody's seen the actual run up to the competition and how much effort and time goes into this. It's really, really worth going about, and it will change lives as well. So everybody get your when's the actual closing date for?
It opens on the 6th of September. I'm not sure on the closing date, but I think it's going to be somewhere in and around the 20s of September, back end of 20s of September. So, yeah, look, guys, a lot of you know that it's coming out now. A lot of you getting prepared, especially the Barbershop of the Year as well. So just get your entries in. We were fantastic entry numbers last year. Over 150 people entered it last year, which when you look at some of the other big awards that's out there, and I get privy to knowing how many people's entered, it's triple, quadruple some of the entries for the competition. So get ready, and hopefully some of your 6 lucky people will get through to the final at Salon International. Gaz, the big news though, I want to share with everybody. The big news. The King is back at Old Trafford. Cristiano Ronaldo re-signs for Manchester United. I couldn't believe the news today. They had to spoil it a bit by saying, yeah, his first choice was Man City. I don't believe that. because Man United are reported to paying him £488,000 per week after tax. So it's nearly as much as you, to be fair, but it's a big one. So welcome back, Cristiano. The future looks fantastic for Manchester United to get the last 2 years out of his career with on the theatre of dreams with the Super Reds.
Do you know what though? That says a lot for where he wants to finish his career, though, isn't it? I mean, it's like almost coming home. I think a Man City fan might put that story around anyway, that he really wanted to go Man City, but you know, we'll never know the truth over that. We're never privy to these sorts of things. So, you know, it's a lot of money, mate. A lot of money, but
I thought about it today as well, Gary. You know, like let's just say you'd left somewhere. You weren't doing much work with the BBA anymore. You'd gone to another company for a period of time, or you'd not that you'd ever leave Rogers because you own it, but I was just thinking from my point of view as well, from Wahl, if you went off somewhere else, but then there were an opportunity 4 years after your career where you think you got a year left, would I want to go back to Wahl and do that? And I'm like, yeah, I would. I'd love to. You know, hopefully I'm going to finish my career at Wahl. But if I ever took the opportunity to go elsewhere, and I would always love to finish my career at Wahl as well. So fair play to him. Money talks as well as pay. It's as a biggie, in it. 488 grand a week. What would you do with that?
Whew. Well, I mean, he's still getting work, isn't he? So, but would you class that as work? He loves the job. He's fantastic at the job. Well, that's a lot of money, like you say. Nearly as much as you've got in the bank, anyway. You know, it's one of them where you think, do I need to get up today? Yeah, that's 480 grand. I think I'll get up today. So, you know, it's one of them, isn't it?
Quite cold over here in Yorkshire. I think we've touched about 16 degrees today. On and off rain, intermittently coming through the skies through today. It's been generally cold. It's one of them days today where you think, you've toyed around with your air conditioning. I've been like, should I put heating on or not? What's it like over in Spain?
Well, we've had 35 degrees today. I've done nothing but sit by the side of the pool, drinking a cold beer and just watching the world go by, to be honest. The one thing that nearly spoiled me day, I had a little bit of a sandstorm on the beach today. Wind got up a little bit and he blew a bit of sand around. So that, you know, it's hard to put up with, isn't it? You know what I mean? And the pool I'm in at the moment, it's like a kiddie's pool that you can lie in the pool, but you know, just have your drink on the side.
Stop him, Trevor. Cut his mic off or something. Stop him telling us. He's killing us.
I'll send you some photos. I'm not going to tell you what the Trevor's just put up on screen. But anyway,
clue. If you do have a tiddle in the pool, does it show that like dark blue residue around you or not?
I don't do things like that, and so nobody else should either. We've got enough problems with COVID. We don't want to be lying in somebody else's piss, do we either? So, but just quickly, beers of the day today. We're on a Spanish night tonight. So Alhambra, that's the beer we're working with tonight. It's the Armory Beach Club has kindly borrowed me a glass as well. It's Alhambra glass. 1925, Granada in Spain, 4.6 this one is. So nice little blonde number, absolutely beautiful.
Well, I'm trying something a little bit different tonight. You can get this in Spain, but I like a Desperado. I'm going to try this one tonight, which is called a Cubanesto, which is beer and rum together. So I thought I'd just give this one a slight change. It's nice, but a little bit taut. Little bit taut.
All right. Oh,
we'll see how that one goes.
This one goes down very well. So we've got 4 beers up for you tonight. So, and I've got some shots as well. We've got some amaretto tonight as well. So doing some little miniature beer shots as well. So.
Well, you are on holiday, and you don't have to get up tomorrow too early, do you?
Beautiful.
So if you're lying when you're in Spain, it's nice to get up early and get out as quick as possible, isn't it, in that sun?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, Rachel's with us and Millie as well. So Millie's up crack of dawn anyway. She wants to be in the pool as soon as, if she isn't in the pool or in the sea, she's brassed off. So she's, we get up, have a bit of breakfast, go down, walk down the front, some churros. You know, that it's a bit like donuts, aren't they? But they're long with chocolate. Oh, they're my favourite. So an early morning walk, go down the churros. The little man who sits down there on the front of the beach. Just get some of that. And first beer, try and make it till 12 before the first beer. Otherwise, it can ruin your day, can't it? So
yeah.
I saved it till 12:30 today because I knew I was coming on the show.
Well, I tried to have the 12 o'clock rule before in Spain. I think when I was younger, I used to have a bacon sandwich and a beer at about 10:30. But you're right, it just for your days as we get older, it slows you down a little bit, and then you get a bit sluggy, don't you? And, it's not as easy. Thanks to all our viewers last week, as Gary said, over 50,000. Again, great views so far. I think we're getting up to 9.5 million views since we started. And a lot of people said to me, I'm a bit surprised you guys carried it on after lockdowns as well. But I think it's a little bit more than that now. We're going to move the show as well, guys. No Barber's Arms next Friday. We will be coming back on the new time. We're going to be doing some midweek shows. So the next show will be Wednesday, the 8th of September. September's a really busy month as well, guys. I've got so much on. Do you know what I did? I made a big mistake, and I'm sure other people did it. When we came back on the 12th, you're accepting some stuff for later in the year, and then I've accepted other stuff. And I'm like, one day I'm in Scotland, the day after I'm in Portsmouth, and then I'm in Kent, and then I'm in South Wales. Oh, it's just like really busy. Then we've got the Boots Conference, then we've got Salon International. And then it looks like I potentially might be going over to Chicago on the 23rd of October as well. So try to get out of the country working as well before January, which will be really good. So things are feeling very normal. I know I've always spoke to you barbers out there about the normality after the 3 lockdowns, but from a presenter's point of view and from a global point of view, things feel a little bit normal from my point of view. We're looking forward to seeing you all at Salon International. Fingers crossed that show goes ahead and we're all safe and we can do that. So be good.
I just noticed that Canada's gone green as well. Are we back into America now? Then are we allowed back into America? Or
I think certain things are, but obviously we're an American company, so I think there's certain things if you're going for work and you've got all your tests done, and it's still not a definite. We've got to go through the right channels, but also as well we've got to make sure that if I'm going out there and I am going to come back to the UK and back into work, that everything's safe. So it'll only happen if I get the green light from Wahl UK and Wahl America. So if everything's safe to do so, it's not going to impact on anybody. We'll be there. But without further ado, I think we've got our first guest in the house. I've known this guy for quite a long time, and we have got the same name, which sometimes can cause a little bit of stir when either one of us there, and it's sometimes a bit weird if I turn up and they're expecting him, or if he turns up and they're expecting me. So we'll find out a little bit of a story without that as well. Without further ado, please welcome from the Fellowship, a great stalwart of the Fellowship and his own business course as well. Great guy. For the first time in Barber's Arms, here on Friday the 27th of August, please welcome the one and only Mr. Simon Shaw.
Ooh, hello. How are you both?
very well, thanks, Simon. It's a bit of a weird one, really. Hi, Simon. No, what's that? Over to you, Simon. You're even looking very close to each other, glasses and everything. Who's taking the lead off who? It's a bit of a weird.
It's my name originally. I mean, I'm a bit older than him, so it's my name. I mean, I've let him use it all these years. And you know, the weird thing is, I even started my career as a barber.
No way.
I did a 3-year apprenticeship.
We had this conversation in a bar. I think you might have been there, Gary, in Manchester, in the Radisson. We inside just had a long chat to each other, and there were loads of like similarities. Can't even say it properly, but with our careers as well. But I think, you know, I can remember one of the first cracks. I think Simon was doing a speech at the Fellowship Awards maybe about 4 years ago, and he finished off with, "I'm just now going to go off and sharpen my clippers." And he got kind of a good. Can you remember that?
Yeah.
He got quite a buzz out of the audience. A lot of heads turned towards me, and yeah, it's quite amusing actually.
Yeah. Yeah, really good. Funny, today I came across Simon. We had a picture taken at Salon International, I think. And we like you say, we got the glasses on, and you know, it's quite a spooky picture. But yeah.
Simon, just for our viewers out there, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of viewers out there. You know, we have a great viewing audience, and people catch this show up as a podcast as well. Yeah. Just for those guys who might not have heard of you, even though they've heard the name, they might not know the man. Yeah. Can you give us a quick bio on who you are, what you are, and where you are now, sir?
Yeah, so quick bio. Started, like I say, 3-year apprenticeship as a barber. Left that, then went to work at Vidal Sassoon, switched over and did women's hair. Opened my first salon when I was 24 with a business partner. Grew that salon group, it's called Harrington's, over the next 25 years. We ended up with 13 salons, 300 staff. We had 10 salons in South Africa as well, another little side hustle. Sold my shares in that. That's still going, that salon group. And I started Simon Shaw Education, running lots of courses for L'Oreal, presentation skills courses, business development courses. And since lockdown, I've kind of launched Simon Shaw Coaching. So I've been working with lots of people online doing, again, coaching on either presentation skills or business development skills. So how many years in the industry? 43 years in the industry. I know, you know, the elixir youth I'm taking is working.
Simon, you see, he's a lot older than us, mate, anyway. So that's one plus point, anyway. What are you actually drinking tonight, Simon, anyway?
Well, there's a tale to that, guys. I'm actually drinking Heineken Zero.
Right.
Not because I'm teetotal, but I went to the pub last night for a quick drink. Didn't feel like getting up this morning, I can tell you. So I'm having an alcohol-free night tonight.
Do you know what, guys? I've been having an alcohol-free week, and the last drink I had would have been last Friday night. I'm on this really health kick at the minute, so the first two so far have literally gone to my head. So I do apologise if I slurred my words a little bit. I'll take it steady.
Well,
Simon, you've seen. Go on, Gary.
Can I just say then I'm drinking for 3 of us then, Emma, tonight?
No change there then.
Because I'm just on the Mau now. Just another quick little tipple from Spain, 4.8, 1890, and I'm enjoying it immensely. So good health, gentlemen, all the very best.
Good health. Very nice beer.
Simon, Barber's Arms is a show that we started in lockdown. We're on episode 57 right now, over 9.5 million views. And so we're going to go through some questions about your career. Then we'll finish off some quick fire questions towards the end. So our audience tonight and throughout this week will learn something about you. First of all, thank you from everybody at the Barber's Arms Expo for your business course and business seminar talk that you did on the Expo. Over 28,000 views that we visited our Expo back in June, July, was it? I can't remember when it was. So thank you for that. So we're going to start off with the questions. I think my first question would be for the audience, with our names being similar, is I've got a little funny story that I'm going to share. But first of all, is there any funny stories that you can share where our names have been slightly mixed up, where it's come up in a conversation, but you might, people might have thought that day that I were coming or you were coming, or any funny stories about our names?
Not in person, but I've had numerous conversations on the online and on social media where people think they're talking to you and they're talking to me. Never, and I had somebody asking me if I could go and come down and do a course for them. And I said, yeah, sure. What are you looking for? And they said, we kind of want fading and we want this, we want that. I said, guys, you got the wrong bloke.
I've had a few funny stories, but I think the one I'd like to share with everybody would have been from the fantastic late Joshua Galvin. I got a phone call one afternoon. It was Joshua, and I picked the phone and says, "Hey, Josh." He went out and he went straight into this massive rant he'd been to some meeting. I think it might have been a fellowship meeting, and I couldn't get a word in to say he's the wrong. And he just carried on and carried on. And after about 10 minutes, I went, Joshua, it's Simon Shaw from Wahl. He went, oh shit, this is private confidence. I said, yeah, no, I fully understand. So yeah, it does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Happen sometimes.
I mean, the thing is, though, especially when you two are very successful anyway, what are the chances of that anyway? You know, having the same name and actually working in the same circles. I know you both do a lot for the fellowship as well. And it's quite funny, really. I mean, it must happen all the time when you search somebody or Google somebody and they're like, he's lost some weight, he has, or he's put some weight on, he has, or there must be.
He looks good.
Well, he's better known than me, isn't he? So I would say it happens to him more than me. So.
Oh, don't admit that to him. We'll never live it down, Simon. You can't say things like that to Simon Shaw.
Well, the other thing is just that on the coincidences. As I said to Simon when I've seen him, I am actually by birth Northern as well. I know my accent isn't, but both my parents come from Manchester, so I'm not a token Northerner. I am a Northerner, really.
Oh, very good. Where are you actually based now, Simon?
I'm in Hampshire, down south in Hampshire. Yeah.
I'm over there in weeks.
Where are you going in a few weeks?
A little bit further down from Hampshire. I'm in Fareham, Portsmouth.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
About an hour from me.
Simon, you're into coaching now. You've got a barbering that we found out tonight and a hairdressing background, and you've had a very successful business career, if you like, that stood you in good stead for your coaching now that you do. Just a couple of questions. Do you do anything behind the chair anymore? And from a coaching point of view, is that your passion now? Is that something that you really, really want to do now? Is that the direction you're going in?
I still do hair. I've got some clients, only clients that I've been doing for like 30 years. So I probably do about 5 clients a week. On the coaching thing, I did a coaching course about 5 years ago, and never really used it because it was almost like hairdressing wasn't quite ready for coaching as a concept. So my real passion then was presentation skills training groups of people to how to present, because to me what that did was that gave them confidence and it gave them the ability to then stand on stage. As I said to you, what happened in lockdown was I started using the coaching, and it's like I'm absolutely loving it because it's that same thing. It's you get that feeling that you're making a difference to people, or that you're helping them, or you're getting them in the right direction. And I think as hairdressers we kind of like pleasing people, so you get that from coaching as well.
So if we go back to the fellowship days, because I can distinctively remember my first ever fellowship visit, which was at Hammersmith Le Palais, Charlie Miller, Anthony Mascola, Guy Kramer. What is your earliest memory of the first time you went to something at the fellowship?
Well, when we had the salons, we opened our first salon in '84, and then we grew, and then we bought a company called Philip Sharon, and 2 directors retired, and then a guy called David Lambert became a director of Harrington's with us, and he was at the time the president. Was he president or chair? I can't remember, of the fellowship. So that would have been in about 2000. So then went to a few things there. And then the late, great Terry Calvert, one day at a do, he said to me, "Here, Simon, we need somebody to come and run this thing, Club Star. Will you come along and sit in on a meeting?" And at Hammersmith, I walked in, meeting, you know what the meetings are like. I don't know if you've ever been to one of the fellowship. I thought, oh no, I can't do this. I just can't sit in a committee. Anyway, I took on this Club Star thing. they didn't really have many members of Club Star at that time. It's like the junior part of the fellowship. And yeah, managed to get it to 250 members, and we got a whole rolling program. Oh, you did something for us, Simon, at L'Oreal in Hammersmith.
I remember being in London. I think my son came along and he weren't allowed to go upstairs at L'Oreal, but we had some break dancers with us that looked after him downstairs. Alex now, my son is 21, professional football. It's weird looking back at that time, because I think you and I think it might have been Jill at that time. You were going out for some dinner. I think you were going to take him with you. But yeah, that's some years ago. And there's a great audience that night. I think there's about 40 or 50 people there at the L'Oreal Academy.
Yeah.
So that's going back some big years. I'm going to put you on the spot now. Who's been your favourite president of the fellowship?
Well, I suppose the thing is, for me, I when I was chair, I've just finished as chair now. Barry Stevens has taken over. I worked very closely with Ken Picton. Yeah. So there's others that I've liked. Sean Dawson did it. People who have been great. But when you work with somebody closely like that, you get to know them, and we had some great laughs. He's got a lot of connections, Ken. So he's in Cardiff, and he's got this mate who runs. He owns part of Cardiff City, I think, but he runs the big Ferrari dealership or whatever it is, a Bentley. So we're going to have loads of meetings in London. Ken rocks up in this limo driven by this driver, and he said, "Oh, I think the guy's name's Ken. Ken's lent it to me for the day. Come on, get in. We'll go around London in this." So, that was a really good time. And we put on, when you do things like the luncheon that we did at the Dorchester, and then we had to move it. You really get to know somebody well. So that was probably my favourite president, my favourite time.
I've been speaking to Ken and Barry quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. I was just going to say we've had Ken and Barry on the actual show, which is precursor to yourself, and I think Barry's tried to shake things up. He's wangled quite a few people to get involved, and he's a really, really nice fella. But not only that, he's trying to get. I think he's trying to widen the appeal of the fellowship as well, because sometimes it's felt quite closed and this private club almost. And what's your abiding memory of the fellowship? What sums the fellowship up for you?
Oh, it's when you consider that everybody does everything for free. You realise that it's pretty amazing what everybody does. Seeing Trevor Sorby on stage, doing stuff for the fellowship. You look at the amount Errol Douglas does for the fellowship. You've done loads, Simon, for the fellowship. The Fame team is quite incredible. For a few years, I did the presentation skills training for the Fame team, and you see some of those guys go on and girls go on, and it's kind of like a launch pad for their career. So watching them and where they go in the industry is fantastic.
And of course,
I've done a bit for the fellowship, but coming up in 2022, there's some big news actually. I'm going to be doing a little bit more with the fellowship, and I'm really excited. So watch this space on that one. I'm supercharged for it. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited and very honoured to be coming on board on that. I can't say any more about it, but I think you might know, Simon.
Well, what I do now is I sit on the finance committee. So there's a small finance committee. So I get to hear about things, but I don't get to hear as much about day to day. I know that they've been talking to you, because I heard that they were saying, yeah, you're going to get really, Simon's going to get involved, and, you guys are getting involved. So yeah, I did know, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Good.
He likes doing things like this. He drops a little hint and then, starts reeling us in, Simon. So Simon and Simon, you can keep your secrets. You're all right.
I don't know. I'm not keeping a secret.
So what's in the offing for you then, Simon? Simon Shaw, as in the coach Simon Shaw. What's new on the horizon for you? What's COVID done, and coming out of that? What's new for you? What's happening?
Well, for me, I used to do a lot of work for L'Oreal. A lot of presentation skills work. They had program called the ID Artist, and that kind of hasn't got going or hasn't started again yet. So for me, it's all about creating my own audience, my own viewers, as it were. And so I've changed to Simon Shaw Coaching. I've just done a big rebrand on the coaching side, just working on the new website. And I've also written a 6-week training program for salon owners, covering things like finance, branding, motivation, coaching. There's a coaching module in there. So the idea is I'll launch that as a course. You'll pay me some money, hopefully. You sign up and we do the weeks in modules, and then we have a like a Facebook group or a live every week, and we run through any issues. So could be salon manager, could be salon owners. It's so yeah, there's lots of things going on. I'm amazed at how many clients I've picked up already. You know, I started off with 1 client. I'm up to, these are coaching clients. I'm up to 6 clients now. So you kind of get to a point where you can't do too many more than that.
No, keeping the quality there as well. That's so important as well. Simon's details are coming up on your screens now as you're watching. So any of the social media sites, his Facebook, Instagram, and all the details are coming right up on your screen now. So if you are interested in some business coaching, presentation coaching as well, this is the man to go see. So his details are now on your screen as well, guys, which you can watch tonight, or you can replay them as well. So if you do want to get in touch with Simon, I'm sure it'd be very welcome to all your inquiries.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Simon, from our guest point of view, I know it's not just big clients that you take on, and from a coaching point of view, you know, if there was one piece of advice you could give somebody, you know, way back in the day, that when you started your business and you started growing, you started it in '84, you sold out eventually, but way back then, if you could give yourself one piece of information or one piece of advice, what would it be for all our budding entrepreneurs out there?
Being the typical hairdresser, I'm going to be a bit greedy, and I'm going to take 2 if that's all right. Know your numbers and get to know your numbers, and learn your way around a profit and loss sheet. I left school with no maths O level, not even sure I took it, and I'm not a mathematician, but I know my way around a P&L. So do that, and if you want to turn over a lot of money, don't focus on the money. Focus on the people that are going to turn that money over from you, and look after your people and nurture and create a great culture for your people to work in, and create a great environment. And that way you'll take a load of money. If you focus on the money and you ignore your people, you won't.
We had David on a few weeks ago, didn't we, Gary? And David were very similar to that kind of, obviously David's doing some business coaching as well, but the kind of thing was about looking after your team. And we were speaking off air as well, saying, you know, in our area as well, the old-fashioned team talks, the motivational stuff, one-to-ones. It's so important to keep your team motivated and keep that salon going and keep everybody fresh and fresh ideas and reinvesting back into your teams. You know, I was speaking to, and he'll not mind me saying this, but Geoff Davis, who's got a fantastic business up in Sheffield called Savills. And he said to me, Gary, on Wednesday, he went, this COVID thing has took us back 10 years. It's took us back 10 years. And he said, in a way, though, it's not a bad thing, because you've lost a lot of people out of this industry, which is the first time that's happened for years. Because I think we were overwhelmed with barbers and people wanting to come into this industry. But now it's got rid of some of that. And so what's left behind, hopefully, is the best people. And then we can restart this fantastic industry again and hopefully get things moving. And I think coaches like Simon and David, it'll be imperative to that. I know Gary just said about where you are and what you're doing, but if I ask you this question, what's still left on your list to what you still want to achieve in your career?
So when I started the coaching, I've set myself a goal. When I started the coaching business, I set myself a goal. And one of the things I want to do is get a very high profile product manufacturer, an MD as a client, and that's my goal at the moment. I've toyed with opening other salons and opening more places, and you have to be really honest with yourself and say, where does your energy and your passion lie? And it wasn't down that route for me again now. So it's all focused on the coaching, and like I say, I want to get this one high profile client as a coach and be their coach.
I think it's very hard sometimes to admit, especially if you've got a business and you're in that position as a CEO or an MD or whatever. Sometimes it's very hard for them type of people to admit they need help, or they need to learn something new, or they need to be critiqued. I think we're all the same. You take on the criticism, hopefully positively. But I think there's a lot of people out there, and whether they admit it or not, and they feel they're almost showing a weakness or being a little bit stupid or what, and they don't want to ask for that help or ask to be improved. And I think it's very short-sighted. We're all learning and ongoing. And I think it's very poignant from what you brought up earlier on. The advice to yourself. We're very creative people, but sometimes we can't admit that we're not great business people sometimes. Yeah. And I think that comes from me personally. You learn over the years, you make mistakes, but wouldn't it be great not to make those mistakes and have the advice in the first place? You learn some very hard lessons in business, and you think, well, that'll never happen again.
Going back to what you said, Gary, it's a lot in our industry that you don't see higher profile people taking coaches. In other industries, it's absolutely the norm. And the reason for that is your coach is somebody, when you get to the top of a business, it's a bit lonely because you can't talk to somebody there's nobody on your level. So you've got to be careful what you talk about, to whom. Whereas with a coach, it's completely confidential, and it's somebody outside of your business.
I think you're right. I think coaching is a big thing. I think one of the biggest growth during COVID and after has been coaching, whether that's been on social media coaching, whether that's been on groups, people who are in a similar kind of position, mobile hairdressers, home salons, present. There's been a lot of groups collated and set up the kind of stuff that's happened. And I think it's been a real growth in this side of it. Guys, some of our top fans watching tonight: David Gray, Julie Owen, Nick Casso, who was on last week, Alison Russo Brown, Rachel Bishop over in Spain. We have got David Gray watching us tonight, just to name a few. Big shout out to Steve Bean as well, who always watches us from his salon while he's still working late. What on earth are you still doing at work at 8:45? You must be driving around in Bentley. Well done. Simon, we're going to finish up with some quick fire questions. I've done some different ones tonight, so if you have watched the show, none of the questions are going to be exactly the same. So we change it kind of like every week. So here we go. If you could be a superhero, who would it be?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Peter Parker. What's your biggest regret so far?
Biggest regret, probably having too many beers last night.
Too many beers?
I'm not a big regret person, if I'm totally honest. I've had lots of ups and downs in my life and lots of bumps on the road and all that, but I know it's cheesy and I know it sounds corny, but as Gary was just saying, you wouldn't be who you were if you didn't have to deal with some of the shit that you've had to deal with. So, I have regrets when I have too much to drink, mainly.
I think we're both, well, barring him, he can do it, but I'm same. I suffer terribly with hangovers. It's 3 days.
Yeah.
Next question, obviously, the next one after that would fall into place. What's your biggest achievement so far?
I have to say, got two girls, two children. One's in the army, captain in the army, and the other one's just qualified as a doctor.
Wow.
I think that probably. I think, you know, the businesses have been fantastic, and Harrington's in the early days grew like crazy and was brilliant. The coaching is brilliant. The training's been brilliant. But long term, yeah, I think the biggest achievement. I managed to get my wife to give me a kidney. I don't know if you know, I had a kidney transplant in 2013, and my wife gave me a kidney. So yeah.
did she prod you in the ribs then when?
No, she's not here. She's gone out of the room. But that first day, it was like, what blood group are you?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
What a catch. Person that you most admire?
Person I most admire? That is a good question. So, I mean, I'll go, but I always, things that come to my mind are current people. There's a couple of people. There's a girl called Carrie Fitz from Kit Studios, who is a social media strategist, but she's just amazing, you know, an amazing soul. And then one of my clients, actually, I really admire him. His name's Joe Hemmings from Blog Salon in Bristol. And he is like what I epitomize is kind of like the modern director. You know, obviously lots of, you know what the industry's like at the minute, lots of staff leaving, going freelance. He's completely pivoted his business to flexible working, and they're all employed, but they're all flexible working and that sort of stuff. In the industry, I think I probably have to say Vidal Sassoon. You know, I spent some good couple of years there, really kind of turned me into a proper hairdresser, really. So yeah.
And lastly, which moment of your career do you relive in your head? Which moment of your career do you when you're driving, sometimes you listen to a piece of music or there's a flashback, but what's the most part of your career that you kind of like relive in your head?
So when I sold the business, it's a long story, but when I sold the business, I kind of got a chunk of cash, and I thought, what am I going to do now? And it's funny, it was Jill actually, who you were talking about earlier, said to me, set up your own business, set up a training company. And L'Oreal employed me very early on to go to Australia and to tour Australia and deliver 5 3-hour business seminars to Australian hairdressers. And I just thought, blimey, that is pretty special. So a little bit of selling the business, and then the bit what came immediately after was this trip. And I thought, yeah, it's not going to be bad.
Cool. I think that sums it up. I got one more question, but I'll not ask it because it's a bit. I'll ask it, Gaz. Which part of your appearance would you change the most, Gaz?
My appearance?
Yeah.
Well, I might give Eric Lander this shirt back. But,
yeah, definitely give him it back.
My appearance, I've always been a tubster, haven't I? You know, quite like to be see what it'd be like be a ripped pole vaulter or something like that. But I'm a chubby. You know, it's all in my hands, isn't it? So perhaps lose 3 stone or something like that. Go back to when I was 18, something like that. But it's never going to happen, I don't think.
What stone?
We've got to spend some time together soon, you know. Those digs and ribs.
But I'm on this big health kick. Simon, it's been great to have you on, mate, tonight. Guys, if you've been watching the show, don't forget to look at Simon's social media sites. If you fancy some business coaching from one of the best in the industry, then give him a click and give him a follow and give him some messages if you are interested in that. But without further ado, from Barber's Arms, everybody, it's been great to have Simon on the show. There's one dread in the industry that if we ever drops on this industry where we're both doing stuff, is to have somebody with the same name. You can imagine if there were 2 Errol Douglases or if there were 2 Jamie Stevens. But do you know what? One thing, and I'm really serious about that, is that it never ever worries me that somebody's got the same name that would tarnish whatever you were doing. I think it's always been, you know, for me, I can always rest assured that you're very professional, you're fantastic at what you do. So for me, it's always been like, whatever, It's good. So
I've been coasting in your coattails for years, Simon. So thanks for the name.
Well, like you said earlier, you are older, so it is yours.
Yeah.
So thank you for being on Barber's Arms, pal. Fantastic to have you. Have a great weekend, bank holiday weekend here on February 27th. And thank you for being on.
Thank you very much. Good to see you guys.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
See ya.
So, guys, there you go.
Well, that went very well. Saying as I was going to give you a lot more stick really about that, with the whole name thing and everything else. But I know we say this every time, and we don't vet these guests. We like to hopefully be transparent, but every time somebody comes off, there isn't very many that we can say, you know what, he was a cock. But Simon was a good guy again. He was a very nice fella. I've met him a couple of times, but not really. I don't know him well. I don't know him as well as you do. But, you know, from the fellowship side of things, and Barry and everybody else, they speak very highly of him. So, yeah, it's nice to see a name behind the face, a face behind the name, should I say. So, it's good. Nice bloke.
Definitely great, nice and refreshing to have people on, and you know, I think shows you where the industry's moved as well. You know, we've had lots of people on now from the fellowship, and I think it's fantastic from those guys of you, which is predominantly an hairdressing kind of organisation, but I think they just see this as a massive change for those guys as well. Where the fellowship over the last 3 or 4 years, you know, things like the Project Men. That they do, along with, like he's just said, the Fame Team, the Club Star Project X, fetching youth through, but obviously identifying as well that men's hairdressing and barbering is a massive part of it, and they've opened their doors and arms up to barbers coming in as well, which is superb.
Well, I think as well from a fellowship point of view, I mean, I've had a lot more to do with Intercoiffure abroad because of our links with North America and Australia and everywhere else. But I think from a fellowship and Intercoiffure point of view, it's the best of the best, isn't it? It attracts the very best of our industry, which just from, you know, Errol Douglas, and it shows that we've had quality guests on, haven't we, from the fellowship, who are actually working with the fellowship and giving their time freely. So it
really good. Have you got a dog near you?
I'm to be honest, you know, I'll let you into a little secret. I'm doing it outside because the green screen, I haven't bought my green screen with me, and I needed a flat wall. So I'm outside, and obviously you can hear some outside background noise as well, because it's dark here now, it's pitch black. And I've got the door open with the aircon, and it's 7 minutes to 10 here. So,
wow.
And you know, you've been to Spain. We're surrounded. We've got a lot of Spanish residents around us as well. They all like to sit outside your window till kind of 1 o'clock in the morning, just chewing the fat and talking. You know, and it's lovely. It's a really, really social place.
That kind of like with the heat, and you've been like having a nice day. You've caught some nice sun in a safe way. But then you have a shower and you're getting ready and you're going out for a beer, but you can smell the food and the heat's still out, and it's just that kind of, that holiday smell is unbelievable. It's just gorgeous, isn't it?
Well, I was going to do it off the roof terrace, but because it's south facing, the radiated heat off the walls. Honestly, you can't, this time of year, you can't literally sit up there. You've literally got to strip off to your pants and just sweat it out. So I didn't think it'd be a good look for tonight. So, no. You know, I can do that for you on the after show when we have a catch up. So.
Oh no, you're all right. I'm good with. The picture in my mind now has been too much for that. I've seen you sat here at my breakfast bar in your underpants as well. It's not the best looking in the morning. Morning, guys. Please put some pants on, for God's sake. At a time like this. So coming up on Barber's, guys, I hope you enjoy Simon Shaw's interview there, business coach, and the guy from the fellowship. Great interview tonight. Don't forget to follow us on our Instagram account. Simon Shaw, Wahl, Gaz is the British Barber, Barbers_arms. Them's our Instagram accounts. For all our previous episodes, our podcasts, which has got the cartoon characters on there. It's really cool, that, actually. It's funny watching you guys because your character talks really quick.
Do you know what, though? When I look at that, I think that looks nothing like me. Yours does look like it.
No, it doesn't, because I've just lost 2 stone. The artist needs to redo it because I've lost 2 stone. Come on, whoever's out there in Australia or Dubai doing the artist work, we need to relook at it. If you want to have a look at our website, which is the barbersarms.co.uk, and if you want to email us, if you want to be a local hero, or if you fancy being a guest on Barber's Arms as well, don't forget to email us at barbersarms at the British Barber. Coming up now, we're going to go over to Australia. And
before we actually go to Lou, can I just say a happy birthday to Mr. Jared Walsh? He's 39. I know he's watching. He used to work for us. He's doing other things now, but he's 39 today. So happy birthday, Mr. Jared Walsh, 39.
Happy birthday, Jared. So joining us from Australia in Barber's Arms for the first time as well. We're going to interview this guy. He is the founder of the Barber Boys over in Australia, Barber Boys Academy. So without further ado, please welcome Lou Fimmano.
Good morning and good afternoon and good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Can I just if Don hears this, Don and Anna, they'll absolutely kill me. So this fella he's the head trainer for the Barbery, which is the Barber Boys Academy. He is not the founder. Don and Anna are I know we'll get slaughtered if Don's watching this as well. So he's actually Don and Anna. I apologise there. He is not the founder, but he is head trainer, aren't you, Lou?
There, yep. I contribute, Gary. That's what I do.
Lou, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. It's been 3 years, I think, since I spoke to you. I know we've done a bit over social media. The BBA did a lot of work for you back in July 2018.
Yeah, that's right.
How are you, mate? Everything all right? How's things in South Australia?
Actually, we're pretty lucky, mate. It's the East Coast here that's in turmoil with COVID. But we're pretty well COVID free, and yeah, everything's just going along nicely at the minute. How about yourself, Gary? How are you?
Very well, mate. Thank you. I'm even better at the moment because I'm sitting in a beautiful place in Spain, taking some rays, eating some cheese, and drinking beer. So, things couldn't be better for me at the moment. If I could just introduce you, Lou is head trainer, as I said, for the Barbery Academy. The Barber Boys is a group of barbershop in South Australia. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to just give us a quick couple of minute bio, Lou, on where you started, who you are, where you are, and just for all our viewers around the world so they get a taste of who we've got on the show tonight.
Oh, well, look, I'm 52. I started my hairdressing when I was 15. I've worked in a couple of places, but I'm one of these guys that doesn't like to move much. So I spent 20 years in one place in a little barbershop, and I've been with Barber Boys and Barbery for 8 years now. It's actually a funny story because the gentleman I started with was heavily into competitions. So as a kid, I got thrusted into all this competition work, and I think that just sort of ignited my passion to keep moving, keep training other people and moving forward. So I used to train a lot of apprentices, and when I went to Barber Boys, Don sort of pulled me out of my comfort zone and sort of put me into training all the apprentices, and we used to enter competitions, and I used to get, the kids would get a buzz from winning competitions. I'd just be the one actually getting the bigger buzz, watching these kids win and teaching them how to cut hair and just excel. For me, that's probably the biggest thing. So,
just give us an idea of the size of the company now. How many How many locations have you got now for the Barber Boys?
We've got just over a dozen locations. We've got nearly 50 staff, plus the academy. Look, they're all intertwined. Like the academy was initially built to supply Barber Boys, but then it expanded and it became its own sort of entity, I suppose. So yeah, when we first sort of decided to grow, we looked at how we're going to be able to grow, and that was by getting the academy going, and that's how that all started. So at the ripe old age of 46, I decided to go and do my training and assessing certificate, which was really funny because, mate, I finished school when I was 15. I was writing 5,000, 10,000 word, essays and everything. I never read that many words in my life in the 10 years of high school, primary school. So yeah, I found all this intelligence that I never knew I had. I still haven't got it. I just tell everyone that I'm smart.
What titles have your students won, or what your learners? What kind of titles have they won, Lou?
We've got Australian championships, state titles. One of our boys went over to New York and finished top 5 in one of the big men's competitions over there. So we've got quite a range of titles, but it's not so much that. It's just pulling these kids out of their comfort zone and just making them compete and making them understand that they can do anything. We've had a couple of lads get finalists in the American crew comps here in Australia. Actually, one of the lads that won the national title in 2020, an international title, Luke Munn, he was a student from the Barbery Academy, and he also worked for Barber Boys. So we had a big hand in his training.
Wow. How many full-time students you got then at the minute?
Yeah, so we've been pretty lucky, and we've got some good kids that want to listen. And that's the main thing. You can only lead a horse to water.
So how many full-time students do you have at the moment?
I think there's about 27, 28. The only reason why I'm not sure on the numbers is because we've got some graduating in the next week or so. So I think there might be 3 or 4. And we've also got some apprentices from industry that we train as well.
So just for everybody that's listening and listens through the week as well, just while we're out there, because I think Australia, for us, that we read the news, is that it's so tight with COVID. If you get a couple of cases, that state closes down. You can't travel from state to state. What's your thoughts on the general feel of your industry at the moment in Australia? What's the kind of feel factor?
Look, for us at the moment, the biggest thing we have is, unfortunately, we've got a lot of guys that aren't certified, and we're trying to implement things to get rid of that and make sure they're all certified or licensed, however you want to call it. And it's just, with the COVID, it's very up and down and unpredictable, and everyone's a little bit nervous. I know you guys, when you guys went into shutdown over there, it was like a big shutdown. We've been lucky here in Adelaide. I think we've only had 2 mini shutdowns. One was for 7 days and one was for 3 days. But Sydney is going through its 9th week at the moment. Melbourne's had 200 weeks in the last 12 months of shutdown. So we really feel for those guys, because they are really, really suffering. And it's heartbreaking, because there's going to be a lot of people that unfortunately are not going to make the other side of it.
I know you're very, very similar to us. When I worked out there with you in 2018 in Adelaide in South Australia, you were trying to push for national registration, and you were in the very similar state to the UK. Quality out there now. What's happening with barbershops at the moment? Is it something that's been really pushed? From your point of view, is it getting better? How do you see yourselves against others, say the UK or the US or wherever? You have a lot of influences. How do you see the state of barbering in Australia at the moment?
It's pretty good. It's a pretty high standard. we've got a lot of you fellas, a lot of the English fellas coming over and setting up in the eastern states. We've got area studios. A lot of the English boys, they're pushing the level up of quality and just the differences. The beauty of it is we're all getting away from the fades a little bit more now. You know, we all talk about, everyone talks about skin fades, this, that, and the other, but we're starting to get away from it, and the skill's starting to come back into it. So what it's doing is people that have been trained properly, all of a sudden, we've come back into vogue. You know, not everyone can pick up scissors and cut with scissors and shape with scissors and know how to do the right thing. You know, I don't care what anyone says. If you got someone with a little bit of skill, they go on YouTube and they'll learn how to fade. It's clipper work at the end of the day. Right? The biggest skill is what you can produce with your hands with a pair of scissors, a comb and a razor. You know, it's not necessarily what you can do with clippers. And Gary, you're exactly like me, mate. I would rather do a scissor cut all day, every day, than some of the rubbish skin fades. I hate them. I hate them with a passion.
Well, you know where I stand, but the fella who's over here, he might not agree with me because his business is selling clippers.
Hey, look, obviously started my career as an hairdresser, so obviously I think some of the best barbers in the industry are people who were hairdressers who went into barbering because they understand shapes so well. And there is a new breed of barbers who can only skin fade, and they're very good at it. And you know, I think there is a lot of skill in doing a fantastic fade. It's amazing to watch it done, but there's also a massive skill in what you can do with scissors. And there's nothing. It's poetry in motion watching somebody cut hair with scissors who does it really well. So I'm a big advocate on both of those. Coming on to that then, clippers, scissors, everything. What's the 3 tools that you cannot live without on a daily basis?
Well, obviously my scissors, my clippers, and my combs. Simple.
Okay.
What else? What he's trying to get out of you, Lou, is what clippers do you use?
Okay, so I'm a big fan of. I actually go Wahl clipper. I use the Anders trimmer and the Anders foiler.
Okay. So there you have it, Simon. You've just got it out of him.
Well, there you go. Look, everybody's got their own opinions on certain stuff, but it's you know, I think when we look at your favourite tools as well, I think you know most barbers will always look at clippers, trimmers, and foilers. Shavers, where if you ask an hairdresser, if we'd have asked Simon Shaw, who's just been on there, what's your favourite 3 things? You know, he's probably going to say he's you know, a really nice brush, his scissors and his comb, because it just changes from people to people. So, you know, any advice that you would have for any Brits that's watching, or you know, if people wanted to come over to Australia to have a change and get their craft over in Australia, what would you advise them?
Look, just be open-minded. You know, look, if say the Lou when he was 21, if I was to go to the UK, I would probably just embed myself in everything. Like I would try work in as many places as I could. You know, I'd go into a fade shop. I would go into a traditional barber shop. I'd go into a men's hairdressing situation. Learn everything. I think when people think they know everything, that's the end of them. You know, I learn every day. Even training a first-year apprentice, right? They might do something marginally different that sort of helps them understand what we're trying to teach them. And I'll pick that up, and I'll go with it. You just continue learning. That's our trade. So if someone was,
we always ask this on an English, you know, to the Americans as well, but any foreign visitors, how do you rate then Australian barbering, hairdressing to English hairdressing and barbering? How do you see Australia? Do you see it better, or do you see the English are better, or are you parallel? Are we parallel in your eyes, or what's your thoughts?
I think you guys are always, look, we're parallel on skill, but as far as it comes to sort of like introduction of new techniques and fashion. You guys are always a little bit ahead. Europe's always the one that's introducing the fashion, and we're always following. So in that respect, we're always following you in I suppose, in fashion. But as far as skill and everything like that, we're all around the same. You know, it's, after all, we all go through training techniques, and we all train to do everything. And even with the Americans, it's the same again. But, you know, you speak to the Americans and they're the best at everything. And yes, they are. We'll tell them they're the best at everything. But again, they all take influences from Europe, and they take influences from us like we do. We openly admit it that way.
I think what it is as well is exactly what you've just said. It's different ways of presenting things as well, though,
Yeah.
Lewis. When I worked with you and your team, you know, we can't say that we know everything, but when you're very good at what you do and you can explain it, break the skill down, and give it to somebody in a new format, if you like, or a new way of presenting it. I think a lot of the times it comes across as there's a confidence in there, obviously, but I think as well, it's just been open to new things, isn't it, as well? That's the main thing.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. And if you're not open to new things, like I said, you might as well just give up.
Yeah. So you've actually moved from Hindley Street, where I worked with you, with your guys and all your apprentices. You've gone to a bigger and better new location. How's that going? Has that increased your capacity for apprentices? And obviously now you're training for other people as well.
Yeah, look, it's really good. The main thing, Gary, it's on one level. And as you know, mate, I'm not the most athletic man. And running up and down those stairs, mate, I'm surprised I didn't have a heart attack. So thankfully, Don and Anna got something on one level for me. So at least I can just move at my own pace.
Oh, good. You've had some back trouble as well. So are you all over that now? Is that all good?
Yeah, look, it's not too bad. I'm very lucky, very grateful. I've had 3 back ops. Had my last one last September. So we weren't sure how that one was going to go, but it went really well, thank God. So yeah, I'm okay.
Do you guys take international barbers?
Yeah, with Barber Boys, we do, yes. With the academy, there's a lot of paperwork and rigmarole to get around it. And to be honest with you, as far as I know, the guys in admin, because I don't sort of get too involved in the admin, they've been trying to set that up for a little while.
I think at the moment, in fact, all your details are coming up on screen as well. So all your Barber Boys and yourself, all your social media sites will be on screens. But I think at the minute, to say to any English barbers or hairdressers who are fancying to move, it's just such a precarious situation for travel at the moment. So anybody who are probably looking to go to, I know one of my mates is an electrician and he's leaving his family business to come over, but he's been put on hold for the last 18 months because of COVID. You know, their plans have been changed. So for us to say tonight, anybody who's looking for a career in Australia or a change,
by all means,
kind of tough that.
Yeah, by all means, look, we will talk to anyone. You know, look, there's such a shortage here in Australia of barbers. There's been a massive explosion. Just shops everywhere. It's insane. There's more barber shops than Woolworths supermarkets at the moment, and we're finding that they're paying ridiculous money for what I would deem as a lot of them unskilled, but they just want to find a body to fill a chair.
Do you know what? I don't know if you watched the show earlier. I introduced a couple of young ladies who are working in Spain at the moment, and they were Lisa. She worked in Perth for a number of years, and her motto, if you go on her social media, her statement is, "I'd rather have stamps on my passport than money in the bank," almost. And I think our industry as a whole can offer such a wide opportunity of getting around, getting out and about, and being all over the world. As long as you've got great training and you can back it up out there, I think you'll get a job and make a living anywhere. Unfortunately, Australia, I think, for the UK is closed at the moment because I'm sure it's until 2022. So, you know, anybody out there, though, it's a fantastic place. It's a fair old jaunt to your place though in Adelaide. I think it took me 23 and a half hours to get to you, and that was with no stopovers. It was pure travel. It killed me, mate.
Okay.
But don't let that put you off. It's a fantastic country, and there's lots and lots of opportunities. And they're a great company, so look them up. Barber Boys are fantastic in Southern Australia.
By all means.
Lou, we're going to finish off with some quick fire questions for you, just
Yes.
to see, let our audience get a little bit to know you a little bit personally.
Yes.
So again, different to what we've just done to Simon. So if you watched him and think, I know I'm well prepared, we're going to do something different. So Lou, what's your favourite food?
I'm Italian, so anything Italian.
What's it like in Australia, the Italian food?
Oh,
It's really good, mate. Look, there's no one left in Italy because all my rallies moved over here.
I tell you what, Simon. I'm sure there's a mafia connection over there. They've got
alleged connections. Everything's alleged, Gary.
Alleged collect. Yeah,
that's right.
The food's fantastic.
You do hear though that the cuisine and the kind of culinary experience in Australia is just off the scale. Everything's supposed to be so much better than here, America, everywhere. Apparently, Australia have got it nailed. Whether that's Italian, English, Chinese, Indian, it's just supposed to be the best. Expensive, but the best. What's your favourite drink, Lou?
Mate, probably Scotch. Scotch.
Favourite music?
Mate, I go from death metal to opera and everything in between.
Favourite destination?
Mate, I live in the best place in the world, as far as I'm concerned. So anywhere in Australia, we got beaches, we've got snow, we've got everything.
Fair play, I like it. And who would be your ideal dinner date? That could be somebody from the past, fetching them back, or present people. Who would you like to have one night with, where you could sit and chat and have 3 hours over food and drinks? Who would be your ideal dinner date?
The King, Elvis Presley. I reckon he would have some stories.
Okay, here we go then. We've got Lou Fimmano, who's having his favourite Italian food, which apparently in Australia has got the mafia connection. It's the best Italian you can get in the world. He's having his favourite drink, which is a Scotch. He's doing all this to listen to some opera music. He's doing all this in his favourite destination, which is in his own land, which is the best place in the world in his eyes, which is Australia. And he's doing all this with the very late and the king of rock and roll, Mr. Elvis Presley. Lou, pleasure to have you on Barber's Arms. Thank you very much, mate. Have a great weekend over in Oz. I know it's very early up there in the morning. We've not asked you what you're drinking, because if you did pull a Scotch out, we think at this particular moment, which is about 5:30, 6:30 in the morning, is it?
Yes, mate. Yeah, about 5:48 as we speak.
You'd have a problem like me and Gaz have if you were drinking. But great to meet you, mate. Great to have you on Barber's Arms.
Lovely to chat to you guys. And like I said, anyone in the UK looking for work, Barber Boys, mate, we're a wonderful company. And we're happy to entertain anyone. And anyone who wants to be trained, come out and see us at the Barbery. We will be more than happy to train you and facilitate what you need.
Lou, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Gary,
It was a pleasure to come out to you in 2018. Hopefully, we'll be out there very soon. Come and visit Trevor, our producer, who's very close to you. But give my love to Don and Anna and all the guys out there. Anthony, who congratulating for his latest award. Fantastic company. Lovely to have you on the show, mate. We'll keep in touch.
Thank you, Gary. Lovely to see you, mate. And hopefully we can catch up soon once all this COVID rubbish is over. And stay safe, guys. Hey, look after yourselves.
Cheers, pal.
See ya. Thank you.
Thank you very much, mate.
Nice to get somebody over from Australia as well, even though it's very early in the morning. So thanks, Lou, for getting up at the godly hour of 5 a.m. and then actually, getting on to do the show. I think it's really good that. And do you know what, guys? I think in Australia, I don't think in the UK, because I don't know about you, but not this week, but I travelled back from Kent yesterday, and the M25, it was just real back to normal. Felt surreal that we'd even been in lockdown. everything's hustle and bustle. Diaries are getting busy. You know, people aren't wearing so many masks anymore. Traffic's packed. You know, things just seem back to normal, like it never happened.
I do want to, but we're still wearing masks at work. We don't make clients wear them. But from a guy's point of view, from a barber point of view, we all wear masks. And in Spain, even though it seems, you know, back to normal, a lot of people are still wearing masks. You're expected to wear a mask if you go into any public area, supermarkets, that kind of thing. So there is that underlying, you know, there's that underlying kind of should I, shan't I just err on the you know, on the positive all the time, but I just carry a mask with me all the time, you know. So I tend to wear a mask if I go into public places. You know, the pub and everything else, it's a different kind of atmosphere, but I think there's a lot of young people out there that we need to get everybody vaccinated. I think that's the main thing, as young as possible. Millie, my youngest daughter, she's just having her first one. She's 16, and people need to make sure that they do, you know, from that point of view. But everything seems to be getting back to normal, you know, or some sort of normal. The actual getting out here, the paperwork, I can't see that changing for a long time. You know, you need a COVID passport, you need a locator form, you need to prove that you've done the right things. So it might be with us for a little while yet. I'll be very surprised if we're traveling into the States, you know, and perhaps UAE's just been classed as red, Thailand's gone red, Turkey stayed red. So there is still places that we can't go yet. So we aren't out of the woods yet, mate. I don't think really. It's just.
I don't think we are for 1 minute, mate. And I, you know, intrigued to know how things have gone with your travels. And I know lots of people that's gone to Spain. I just haven't had art yet to go out abroad on vacation, just because, like, I'm not a paperwork person and all, and also I'm scared of getting locked out there or keeping one eye on flights, thinking we're going. I know it's moved on a little bit from that, but you hear horror stories about people 3 days into their holiday, the traffic light system changed, and all of a sudden they're like spending a day and a half trying to get flights back because they can't afford the time off work when they get back. But I think things have changed through vaccinations. But you are right, the younger people now can get vaccinated. I think the UK were ahead of the globe in terms of, we were behind on so many things. We got caught short.
Yeah.
I saw one of my mates on a video, on a photograph. He was camping. He's a big guy, and he was sat on a deck chair. And I passed a comment saying, that deck chair is under more pressure than Boris Johnson. But we did do a lot of things wrong in the UK, and we got short of the numbers saying, no, we should only have so many fatalities. And he just were off the scale. But I think one thing this government did was getting us vaccinated quickly in a rapid state since January onwards. The plan really worked with that, and I think that's given us now the freedom to be back to some normality.
Well, you know, that was I wrote this year off completely, even coming out to the house. But obviously we own a house, and we hadn't been out there for each 2 years this week and this last week, and we needed to get out there and just make sure things were right. So, you know, we took a risk, and that we'd actually put things in place. I'd looked at flights if we had to get back quick as well, you know what I mean? Because it was so cheap at the time, just to make sure that we could get back within a couple of days as well. So things are, but Spain have had it. I expected a lot of things to be closed out here, you know, to the businesses to suffer with no tourists, but they've been in the same boat as us. They couldn't travel. So all the Spanish have stayed in this country and built on their tourism as well. So the same that's happened in the UK, you know, a lot of the tourism and especially the pubs, restaurants, hoteliers, they've had quite a good year, haven't they? Because everybody stayed in the UK.
Economy should have done well in England. But do you know what? I was just booking an hotel today out for one of my mates' weddings in a few weeks. And it's like 290 quid for one night. Yeah, and that's the only disappointing thing with the UK. The nice hotels have really put the prices up, and I just find that like that's the one thing that kind of kicks you in bollocks and stops the loyalty for future years. Because when we get back to normal, people are going to want to go to Spain, go to Dubai, go to America, go to Greece, go to your favourite destinations, even if weather's nice here, because what's happening in the UK is people are seeing a massive opportunity and just jacked everything up. I stay in Kent when I go to the office. You know, we've got an holiday in near us, and, you know, most of the year there you can get a room for like 50, 60 quid. The other night we were really busy. It was 155 quid for a night. Yeah. It's just like, come on, guys, you lose. I understand what you've got to do, but you just lose. It's like us when we short seniors or super tapers and there's some come out, instead of it being 130 quid, we put the price up to 300 quid because there's a shortage. We know we'd sell them, but where's your loyalty to your customer or to the brand? It's just not right to do it. So that's the only downside I find with the UK hoteliers and the tourist industry. They've just caned us.
It's true though, but it's like service industry as well. We can't do that either, can we? We can't double or triple our price just because we're busy. It takes the piss, you know, and people will remember that, I'm sure. Yeah. That will definitely that will definitely stick in people's minds. That will definitely, I'm sure. But you know, we've had it tough. Hopefully, we're coming out the other side. Have you had another beer, or are you just stopping with the one all night?
No, I've had 4. I'm on my 4th. I'm trying to send some counselling to Julie Owen, who says she cannot get the image of you sat in your briefs out of the brain at the minute. And I'm same, Julie. I'm struggling with that at the minute. I've seen it once before, so it's like a double back image now. Especially if he's sat there with Eric Lander's Beach Boys top on and his briefs on as well.
Julie, it's only like having me budgie smugglers on the beach on. So it's not that bad. It looks all right. I'll send you some. I'll DM you some private message pictures, Julie.
Oh, I bet you can't wait, Julie. I bet you can't wait. Just before we finish off, guys, coming up on the 6th of September is the big one. It's the Wahl British Barber of the Year and the Wahl Barber Shop of the Year. Entries will be open on the 6th of September, but get your applications ready so you can get first in there on the 6th when it opens up. And the final this year will be at Salon International, who will be the new Wahl Barber of the Year and the Wahl Barber Shop of the Year. Last year's recipient, Killian Madison, and Andy's Barbershop in Bicester was the winners. Who's going to be the new finalists and the new winners? Let's take a look at the promo video. So there you have it, guys. 6th of September, it's the big one. Don't forget to get your entries ready over the next few weeks. And let's see who is going to be the new winners. And like Gary said earlier, who's going to change your career? Who's going to change your barbershop's career by winning those fantastic awards? When we interviewed Killian and Andy in the week, the nice thing is that you keep the trophy as well, that big Champions League trophy. So that stays with you. Bear in mind, Ruffians have won it twice. Ted Bakers have won it twice. So they've got 2 of those trophies in their lockers, and Andy's got 1 already. And then the past recipients, Darren Pittman, Gerard Linnington, Andrea Raymond, Jamie Dunning, you know, Carl Taylor. These are the past winners of the Barber of the year, and their careers have gone on to fantastic stuff. So it is what dreams are made of.
Do you know what, mate? I feel a bit sorry for the winners this year, don't you? From this last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's totally beyond control and everything else. But they're such great guys, you know, Killian and you know, all the tribe out there in Bicester. But it's just, you know, I just can't help feeling they've kind of missed out on the whole experience. You know what I mean? It's they won it fair and square. It was a great win, and it's just, I just feel like they haven't had the full experience, really.
They haven't. And I was speaking to Alan Beacon the week, and we had a meeting, and we were just talking about, like, it is, but one of the things is people talk about it a lot, but it's a bit like when they turn up in that final six, and when I've seen people backstage, we come backstage, you see all the sound and light technicians and they're micing them up, and all of a sudden the confidence just drains from people. All of a sudden it amounts on you. And I've found sometimes the people who didn't expect to win it go on stage and win it. It's weird. Calm, you know, being yourself. But people talk a good show up until you get to the final. It's a bit like, you know, when you're playing football, I suppose, going to them big stadiums away from home, and, you know, the rabbit in headlights kind of feeling. So I think last year, well, the video entrances, and like you've just said, they missed out on so many things, like the shows and stuff and things like that. But I think we did it in the best way we could have done. But, you know, that's the way it goes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The way, you know, it was done, and I mean, almost sometimes harder, really, because they were scrutinised even more. You know, and I was one of the judges, but, you know, the whole after effect of winning, though, that's what I meant more so. You know, the you know, being rolled out, you know, the current winner and everything else. It's tough. It's really tough, and there's been winners and losers in everything. They'll always be there. They'll always have their name on that trophy. They'll always be the winner of that year. Nobody can ever take that away from them. But you know, it's just one of the things. And
later in life, they'll be able to say, you know, we were the Wahl Barbershop of the year or the Wahl Barber of the year in COVID. You know, again, it's going to be a momentous kind of thing to look back on. Bank holiday weekend, Cristiano's back at Manchester United. What a fantastic signing that's been. Unbelievable. Made my weekend, really, to be fair. Guys, I don't know what the weather's going to be like here in the UK. I've not even looked at weather forecast, actually. But whatever it's going to be, it's not going to be anywhere near as hot as what it is over in Spain, where Gary is. I think we've got the cloudy and sun. Sun tomorrow with 20 degrees, cloudy, and some sun on Sunday, and cloudy and sun, 18 degrees on Monday in Yorkshire anyway. So that don't look too brilliant. I'm not going to say to Gaz what his weather's going to be like. It's going to be red hot. You can tell he's glowing. He looks so well with a bit of sun on him. But I saw a great quote this week, and it's not one of the most dynamic quotes in where I love using quotes and stuff, but it's a nice one which said, you know, when you're riding a bike, if you stop pedaling, the bike stops and you wobble. And I think careers are the very same. It's been tough, and you're getting out of it, and we're getting back to some normality, but you've got to pedal. You've got to move forward. You've got to keep buzzing. You've got to keep doing what you're doing. You've got to keep training, and you've got to keep working on, you know, your business and everything. It's coming to the business end of the year, competitions, awards, British Hairdressing Awards, Wahl Barber of the Year Awards, coming up to your Q4, which is the Christmas era. And it's also going to be a profitable time for you all, and you all deserve it. So hopefully we all stay safe. And whilst you're having a bank holiday weekend, great time to plan for your last quarter coming into September and through the year. So I wish you all a very happy bank holiday, a very prosperous bank holiday. Get yourselves planned, and hopefully when you get back to your businesses, you can carry on to smash it. Have a great weekend, guys. All the best.
Thanks, Simon. Well, guys, all I can say is from me in Spain as well, have a great bank holiday. All the team who's looking after the business while I'm not here. Have a great weekend, fellas. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Remember, there's no show next week. We start back on the 8th of September on a Wednesday, 8 o'clock. We're trying a new format. We're just changing, swapping things around a little bit. So hopefully it includes a few more extra people. Look out for the digest. BBA Digest is out next week. Great new, some great new bits and bobs in there. Some great pieces. Have a great weekend. Hope you all have a little bit of weather. And buenas noches, mi amigos. Adios.
Adios.